of the Eugene S. Robinson Show. Stomper! Welcome, my friends, to a show that seemingly never ends. This is a version of 3, 4. No, wait. 3, 8, 4. What's the numbers? I am a wizard. Check it out. Wait, hold on. Custom-made bathroom, only the finest for me. Let's let Bob Riley sing us in as he has every single week since 2007. The song is Intro, All of Nothing, from The Calling of the Just. Still available from Revelation Records in Huntington Beach, California, where they shoot you to death in a nightclub. They hit your car with a hammer and they run your mayor pro tem out of town on a rail to open up a substandard restaurant that will inevitably fail in Central Florida. Listen well. I'm on my way back nowhere. I took my time but I could not see it to play. Now I'm taking a real good look at you. I'm taking a real good look at your face. So be there, play back and forth. Always nothing. Yeah. All right, my friends, welcome to a show that seemingly never ends. The office is a complete and total fucking mess. I am trying feverishly now to clear out all the boxes from the garage since I successfully managed to navigate the weird and complicated Spanish purchase system for a motor vehicle. And I'm still getting emails from Minnie saying you have to sign some paper so you can get the car. And I'm like, well, isn't there an emoji for this now? There's got to be an emoji for this. It's like, bro. And then they have the gall to send me a survey. How did you like our service? You know, there's this fiction that if you put shit on this phone, it suddenly makes life easier. It doesn't. It absolutely fucking doesn't. Just because you have an app, like I said, which is modern talk for right up your ass, just because you have an app doesn't mean, listen, let me tell you something. Let me just give you a little background. There's a thing called Einstein, Podolevsky, and Rosen. Yes, Einstein stole a lot of his work from his wife, who couldn't publish at the time because society was biased against women. So he took her shit and stole it. But Einstein, Podolevsky, and Rosen, they're talking about now because it shows spooky connection over large distances with no seeming connection between them. Thought transmission, precognitive thought. That's what we're talking about, right? Yeah, they wanted the Mini Cooper, so that's what I got them. All right, so the idea is that they take one molecule and they separate it, and then they take it far away from another one. They zap the one with something or other, and the one that's far away responds. So me and this dude decide, okay, we are going to do a psychic experiment. Was LSD involved? Lots and lots and lots of it. So the experiment is going to be, we're going to pick a rant. He's 6,000 miles away. He's in Paris. I'm in California, in Palo Alto. I'm going to pick him. He lived in Palo Alto. I'd been to Paris. You know, whatever. I'm vaguely familiar with the terrain. We're going to pick a time, and we were going to, at one point, because I was already a proven transmitter, I was going to transmit. And this dude he's got a PhD in quantum mechanics, is a professor in the university in France. No, we're not just drunken, blasted out of our head jerk-offs. So we pick a Sunday, pick a day, an hour, time, and I'm going to spend an hour transmitting. and you spend an hour trying to receive. And we did so. I went to a park, and I got on a swing, and I swang back and forth, and for an hour, I put myself in transmission mode. It's crazy how you do it, and I'm not going to go into it in the show unless you beg, but you transmission mode. And then later called him and said, well, what did you get? And he said, well, I got a very strong sensation of being on a ship, or there was a motion involved, and he got it right. I was on a swing, and I was in a swing next to train tracks. He got all that shit, transmission. And then he said, okay, another Sunday, random Sunday, we're gonna pick it, and then he was gonna transmit, and I was gonna receive. And I mean, he could have been anywhere in France, anywhere. I had no guesses. And in fact, I had only been to France once at that point, I think. So not even enough to know. And of course, I received, said, oh, it's a white fence and so on. Now you could say, well, where are the places that a person could sit for an hour with their eyes closed and not really be bothered? He could have been his apartment. He could have been a restaurant. I mean, whatever. So, yes. If you're listening on SoundCloud, I just gave the finger. Remote viewing, all this shit. Russell Targ, thank you, Mr. Matt. Exactly. And we picked it up. I transmitted. He got it. He read it, and I was like, man, this is great. But where do we go with this? And the reality of it is, to confirm that it really happened, you know what we did? We just picked up the fucking phone. So just saying stuff is an app, and making us go through this fucking phone for stuff, you're not making stuff easier. I don't want to be a prick. And I'm not complaining. I'm just noting, but the American system where you could walk in with cash, okay, yes, they spend time trying to upsell you. Yes, there's a haggle-a-thon. Yes, you can't trust these used car deals or any car deals, really, and this way it was a lot cleaner here, but it shouldn't have taken that long. So anyway, the family's got the car and take back the rental tomorrow. And the thing is that, if any of you know cars, if somebody could think about this and let me know if this is still the case. My memory, of course, my memory, I've never owned a new car before. So this is a memory going back to buying used cars or putting new engines in old cars. But that until the first oil change, you're supposed to drive the car like a grandmother. Now there's fuck Cyclone. All right. You're supposed to drive the car because the metal filings in the engine will fucking fuck up your engine if you drive like a lunatic right out the box. So you drive like a grandmother, either for the first 500 miles or to the first oil change. And then after that, after you change it to get all oil, metal filings out of the engine, you can drive like a lunatic. If that's not the case with new cars anymore, please, I could have gone to the internet and looked it up, but I spent too much time in front of the computer as it is. So, and not enough time doing the right shit in front of the computer. So I need to start, after I clean up this fucking pigsty of an office, I need to, and you want a degree of my mania? Yeah, I'll show you some of my mania here. And why, when I describe to my kids as I'm just kind of a quirky guy, my kids go, that's how you see yourself? There you go. Now, you might say, why does Eugene have a gas mask? Well, the gas mask container for a chemical attack, you got to screw it on the bottom. There's over here somewhere. I use this for training. No. Is it just 3,000 miles, huh? No. Okay, until the first oil change. All right, I got it. All right. Good. Because I've been driving the rental car like a fucking lunatic because it's a rental, right? But the car that I actually went through this much misery for, no. So, and the thing that made it delightful is that I knew instinctively if I got it from this guy, he would take care of the insurance, the license, and the registration, all of which I guarantee I can't even imagine what the inside of a Spanish DMV must look like, but it has got to be some version of the Phantom Toll Booth for those of you who remember Knuckle Up, and I don't want any piece of any part of that. I don't want any part of that. So anyway, so yeah, so it was easier fundamentally to call the phone, and this came out of. I'm going to go into deeper background. I didn't want to do this, but I remember if you read, you can still find it on. I'll put the link up here. Let me see. My PhD in crack. Here it is, and I'll put the link in the thing. It is. Oh, hold on. Okay, so this. Where can I put it? How do I add to the? How do I put comments in the thing? It looks like I can't put comments in the thing anymore. Guest chat. I'm going to put it in the guest chat so June can put it in if June is still listening. There you go. If you could put that in, June, that would be cool. Yep, thank you. So this woman who the link is going to show up for a second. Some of you might remember it. She's an ex of mine. And I think I lost some friends because they thought that, I have an international driver's license, but it was a license and registration I was concerned about. So she was a world-renowned Nietzsche scholar, and then ended up, trundling headlong into, crack addiction and ultimately crack whoring. And I think the friends that we lost were other philosophy students who maybe thought that it was predatory for me to tell her story, but she was very much interested in telling her story. And at the time at Ozzy, and thank goodness it's still up on YouTube. I thought she should be allowed to, and I also thought that if you take a Swedish royal who was also a beauty queen and a world-renowned Nietzsche scholar who spent 5 years as a crack whore, that self-described crack whore, that I couldn't see why why we didn't get a book deal. That's what I was trying for, to get a book deal. But in any case, well before she was a crack whore, we were dating, and she was staying over at my place, and she had fallen asleep. And I don't believe, there's a link there. She had fallen asleep, and I don't believe, I was convinced that we had a kind of psychic connection. And she was sleeping like solidly. And I decided to go into that liminal space. And I'm sorry, you got me on this crazy road. All right, you close your eyes, and I forget the medical name of the light impressions you see when your eyes are closed, kind of purple light, and it's usually like white noise on a TV. If you're old enough to remember when TVs had white noise, just kind of scattered pattern of lights. But what you do is you wait for them to settle down, and you focus on one of them until it starts to fill up your entire field of vision, and then it fills up your entire field of vision, and then it feels like very much like you're in a room. And it almost circular. It is like maybe a circular thing. I don't know if it's the rods or cones in your eyes that create the sensation, but then you step through it, and then you're in a space where you can communicate. Right. And so I call her name, step through close my eyes. I'm very still. We're laying next to each other in bed, and I call her name. She goes like that. I was like, Jesus Christ. That was just weirdly coincidental. Nah, they're not floaters. Floaters you see when your eyes are open, you're looking at the sky. This is something different. It's like you can get the sense that close your eyes and rub your thumbs, your thumbs of your fingers on your eyelids, and you'll start to get a sense of these impressions. So I wait now, and I go, that was freaky. And I wait, maybe about 4 minutes, and I do it again. The same thing happens again, and now I'm freaked out. The greatest guy. Anyway, that is, we come to the conclusion, close to the conclusion of the show. This week, Saturday, John has been up to his eye, his earballs, and some of his Ali Act stuff. So real world journalism he's got going. Plus his mother is very sick, so he and his brother are tag teaming trying to take care of the mom. So we canceled the If the Shoes Fit from yesterday. We were supposed to be, and it's no longer on Tuesday. It's on Saturday. So next Saturday it'll be on. So this week we'll have another Bad Boss Brief, which typically we'll record on Friday. Saturday will be If the Shoes Fit. Sunday will be this again and another Substack. And I'm hoping I'm obsessed with something other than loads, because I really don't want to do an entire Substack on loads. However, if it happens, it happens. You could. Here, I'm gonna put, this will be Chris Marshall. This will be the last thing I do before we get out of the show. The record's called Baby Blue, and it is, I'll June to put it in before we go. Let me sing it. It is, here, June. Let me put this in. It is really phenomenal. And I don't say that easy. I put out a lot of records, even men's records. I like it. I got Leisure High coming out with Devin Kelly from Levin from Blectum. It'll be coming out this SGG. These are good records, but this Bomb will enjoy Baby Blue. It's phenomenal. You can pre-order it right there. So thanks for asking about it. I forgot about it. So anyway, October 12th, I didn't mention money at the top of the show. Julia's been paid for October. Rocktober, she's been paid. She's happy because of this new system. The price has gone up. So if you want to part with some money, you can do it through CashApp. You can do it through Venmo. You can do it through PayPal. You can just subscribe to a Substack. Any of these things, put money in the pocket and keep us out of hot. So, the music video. Yeah. You got the good for you. I'm glad you saw it. So anyway. This got to end the show in a different way. Let me just say, look what you made me. Wait. Now, whispering is even worse on your look what you made me do. Don't die, fly there. Don't die. We'll see you next week.
Thanks for joining us this week for yet another episode of the Show Stomper podcast, featuring your host, Eugene S. Robinson. Be sure to follow Eugene's weekly newsletter, which is a soaring hit at eugenesrobinson.substack.com. If you're still on Twitter, he's at Eugene S. Robinson. While you're at it, follow him on Insta at Mr. Sleep 3, that's the number 3. For more episodes of the show that seemingly never ends, go to showstomper.substack.com and become a subscriber today. Eventually, it will house all the Knuckle Up archives we can locate. We already have all the jiu-jitsu breakdowns for free. Check out Eugene on the Bad Boss Brief podcast every other Wednesday morning, as well as the If the Shoes Fit podcast. Pick up his memoir, A Walk Across Dirty Water and Straight into Murderer's Row today. And be sure to leave him a much appreciated honest Amazon review.
Hey, are you still there? I'm here too. This is me, June M. Williams, Eugene's producer.
The Show Stomper has been produced by Original Designs, owned and operated by me, June M. Williams. I provide Eugene with videography, original show graphics, motion graphics, show logos, podcast syndication, social media, and more. I can be reached at originals@gmail.com, spelled ORIJUNELS @gmail.com.